And we're live.
We're live.
I'll laugh that later.
Well, it says we're live.
It says we're live.
We're brewing coffee, so we're brewing the Nicaraguan
Instead
blend.
of Ian, you get coffee. This
It's,
seems
wait.
appropriate.
Is that called land shark roast? Lake shark roast.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's really kind of a cool. Show them the shark again. That's kind of cool. Look at that, right.
Urgh.
Are there freshwater sharks? Not that I know of.
No.
Amazon, I think there are sharks that survive in freshwater. Bull sharks, I think, in Mississippi.
Okay, for values of fresh.
Oh, I got to get my cup.
The sacred ritual of the black nectar of the gods has begun.
Yes.
And so you all know, being proper Navy, Jim does not take adulterants into his coffee.
No, he doesn't.
He does
I
not
know.
tolerate them. He turns his nose up at them.
Yeah. Ah. All right. Now, let's try this again.
Y'all can
Oh, yeah.
tell it's going to be one of those days.
It's already one of those days.
One of those days for a while.
Yeah. Where the hell are we? What are we doing? Why are we here?
How many lights were there, Jim?
Too friggin' many. Here, do your thing.
Do my thing. I did my thing. I poured the coffee. Oh, wait. Okay. If you'd like to donate to the We Don't Stay at Motel 6 Ever Again Fund, send money here. If you like what you just saw getting poured on camera, we got it here.
Yeah.
Let King Harbs know that A, you appreciate it, and B, you heard about it from us. Maybe they'll send us more coffee because coffee.
Now that you have my attention, what did you think?
I've got a rant, but I can
Oh,
wait.
get in line, sucker.
I can wait.
All right, go ahead.
Nope, mine's gonna take a while. You go first.
Now, so is mine.
Go.
So split it between you, 30 minutes each. Go.
Make the announcements.
Okay. Space Cowboys 3 closes July 31st. If you got Space Cowboys, move it. Move it? If you have a Space Cowboys story, send it to us. All Will Burn. I'm very, very interested in this one. Closes,
8/31,
is there a 31 or a 21?
31.
31. Close enough. Closes in August. Moggies 2. There will be a Moggies 3. So Moggies 2 closes 8/31. If you have a Moggies in space, send it.
And the library anthology will close the end of August also. And Tuesday, since there have been a number of questions about what the oil patch is, we will attempt to do a little bit of history on the oil patch, Texas version.
Ish.
Yeah.
We'll do oil patch. Mine will tend to general oil patch knowledge. His will be Texas.
How long do we have on Spurgle too?
Keep writing. You're fine. Oh, speaking of, keep writing. Kelly Grayson has a bunch of short stories and books out. Y'all need to buy those. And when you do buy them, leave
Reviews.
and feedback for them. Also, tell your friends and your family. Also, randos on the street.
Yeah.
Tell everybody that you need that Kelly writes stories because he writes really good stories and needs to keep doing it.
Spurgle 2 is September 30, so we've got plenty of time.
September 30 for Spurgle 2, according to the Raconteur Press production manager.
Also, some Spurgle is dribbling over into Moggies in space.
For those of you who didn't hear that, my lady says, and I quote, some Spurgle is dribbling over into Moggies in space.
Well, I'll have you know, I beat everybody else to it. Because Spurgle is in diversions.
Okay. I heard Spurgle and beat it in the same sentence and got a little worried.
Yeah. 2 Spurgle spottings were in diversions. You're right. And 250 sold, 26,000 page reads on diversion so far. And 2 things that I had to go in and fix. So I'm happy that it was only 2 so far.
Wait a minute, there's going to be a Space Cowboy. There's going to be a Space Cowboys 4?
Yeah.
All right, then. See, we're going to need more covers.
And John
I
says, do you
some
have a
art
list?
set aside.
Okay.
A list online with the themes, dates for all these anthologies.
Okay.
Okay,
Raconteur Press has to have a business meeting here in a couple of weeks.
not
and
this weekend, next weekend.
a couple of weeks.
And yes, we'll have a schedule, but we won't release the whole year at the same time. So, because Space Cowboys 4 is probably middle of next year, so is what we're looking at. But we have enough stories we could like do 3 and 4 at the same time. So,
Thank you, man. I do appreciate the kind words.
Is it full form to have multiple stories in a series? No, it is not. If we're doing a 4 anthology series and you send us 4 good stories, we're not going to turf out a good story just because you had one in a previous edition. We like good stories. We don't care. Something I've had to tell multiple people is recently is we don't care as long as they're good stories. We don't care. Well, what about? I don't care. Is it a good story? Yes, we'll print it.
Within limits, because I mean, the story length that we are usually looking for is no more than about 8,000 words. We will definitely consider one that is slightly longer than that. If it is twice that length, so roughly 16,000 words to 20,000 words, then we will not consider it. However, if you ask in one of the groups, one or somebody, probably me, will give you a link to the self-publishing checklist and then make sure that you can walk through and publish that yourself, because you can make your own money on that, because that's a novella. But it's not a short story, so we can't accept it. Other than that,
Oh my God, Tom, what Spurgle meets Retif?
Spurgle meets Retief.
Spurgle.
ooh, somebody needs to write that.
Go ahead, Tom. You started that ball
You're on it.
rolling.
Spurgle meets Retif in Ringworld? Looks like you're getting voluntold there, Jim.
No.
Damn it.
Uh,
This time when we send acceptances for Moggies, we'll do notifications for Moggies too. All right. I got asked multiple times, Imaginarium, why we weren't doing novels. Basically, because people were upset because I was sending novels to them, novel authors to them. And they want to know why we weren't doing the novels. We're fine-tuning the process. We're using our anthologies to fine-tune the process. Once we get the process a little more fine-tuned, yes, we'll start doing novels. In the meantime, if you have a novel, which absolutely positively has to get out there, Hillbilly at Three Ravens is a good guy. He's a good friend, and he'll do you right. We met the boys over at Jumpmaster Press this weekend. Seemed like really good guys. I head over there and talk to them about it. There are other places. Yes, we won't get paid. I don't care.
Yeah.
Get your stuff out there.
oh, by the way, I do have to give a shout out. My cup does not run over, but it was actually made by a friend of mine, Lou Baggett. And she is a artist of multiple genres, if art can be called a genre.
Mediums, usually,
Medium.
but genres works. We can go with
Whatever. She does shit in various things. She does watercolor. She does oils. She does ceramics.
this. Creative.
Very. And she kept trying to make me a cup with an anchor on it.
Oh, I see a
Oh.
bit of an outline there.
There's sort of
Yeah.
an anchor on there.
And then the glaze ran.
And the glaze ran.
So it's a hidden anchor.
And I got this cussing email. And she says, I'm coming to town. I have a cup for you. It sucks.
But it's perfect. It's the anchor underwater.
Yeah. Very appreciative. And she does fantastic work. And she did finally get one that the glaze didn't run on.
So,
So, all right.
Ian, turn it around so the anchor actually shows to the camera and hold it up. There you go. That way they can kind of see.
Yeah, you
The
kind of see
anchor
the anchor in
underwater.
there. Yes, it is a very cool mug. All right. Now we'll let Ian start with the rant.
Okay. Some basement dwelling primate decided to use the term social contract at me. Don't do this. There is no such thing as a social contract. I don't care what John Locke said. He also believed in phlogiston. There is no such thing as a social contract. Social contract, the primary word of that is contract. A contract is something that two parties enter into voluntarily, intentionally, and knowingly. Also, a contract cannot be changed unilaterally by one party. What these people are meaning is mores, as in social mores, M-O-R-E-S, not the eels. Social mores and some other stuff I've just forgotten. Anyway, not a social contract. They're using social contract because the way that social mores and folkways are enforced is by society. They are enforced by isolation, shunning, ridicule, and various other things by society as a whole. Contract is being used because, one, the word contract has the assumption that you entered into it knowingly, that you agreed to it. I did not agree to this bullshit. Contract, also, contracts don't change. If you have something that changes, it's not a contract. The social contract bullshit, which is, I noticed, most often used by primates living in their mother's basements, existing on Hot Pockets and Ding Dongs, before they slither out of the basement to get their apples and whinge about how capitalism is ruining their lives, leaving discarded Starbucks cups along their slime trail. Contract, when you have society enforcing your mores, your folkways, and to a lesser extent morals, it's not the government doing it. These little monocephalic use contract because it assumes that the government, which they seem to have a real Jones for some reason, this breed of primate wants the government to have their pedipalps into everything.
Because they still live in their mommy's basement.
Yeah.
And they know that mommy will eventually die, but the government never dies.
Right.
And they have no responsibility for anything.
So, social contract doesn't change. Now, when you tell me that I entered into a social contract, I don't remember signing a dotted line for that, by the way, for roads and a government. I'd like my money back on government, please. Thank you. It's changing. Now the social contract is for various rights and for living wage. I didn't enter into a social contract to provide a living wage to somebody who exists on Ding Dongs, Starbucks, and ennui.
Yep.
Mm.
And it gets worse.
Could I write it down? No.
But if anybody wants to transcribe it,
I'll probably put it on my blog once I've calmed down and taken some of the swear words out of it.
why?
Yeah, I take the swear words out. My blog is PG. Always has been.
And you can write just as elegantly without swear words because
If
there
I
are
can sit-
other words that mean the same thing. not
If I
that they
can
understand
I'm a
them.
sailor. It doesn't work that way with me.
If I can sit down, I will be very eloquent.
I'm
I
a
might
lady
even
and-
be articulate.
I'm a lady and I have studied Shakespeare.
Social contract does not exist, folks. And people that use it are doing so because they're emotionally blackmailing you by using the word contract to assert that you signed up, that you agreed to this, and to assert the government needs to enforce the interactions between people. It's not a social contract. What they fucking mean is social mores, folkways, and to a lesser extent, morals. Period. Full stop. End of story.
Yeah.
Your turn.
And I'm not even sure they mean folkways because that implies tradition. And
Yeah.
they seem to be going out of their way
To destroy any
abrogate
tradition, yes.
anything that came down from before them.
Becky is dead on the money. It's to assert that you have some sort of obligation.
Yeah,
Now-
and that's exactly what it is. They use social contract to force you to do something they want. Like I said, contracts are not one-sided. The social contract is always one-sided.
Always has been, always will be.
I
My
have
turn.
25 minutes left, my half hour. Go right ahead.
Okay. Mine is a two-parter.
Okay, go ahead.
Now,
Go ahead. Nope. I got to work this one up.
finish it.
Nope, I got to work on this one. It just popped into my head.
All right.
Squirrels just grabbed it.
One is the Navy uniform regs are a little different than the other services. And Admiral Aquino, who is is now Indo-Pacific, used to be PACOM. In other words, he's in charge of, he's a 4-star, in charge of the Indian Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, which is about half of the world. Went to a symposium at the Aspen Security Council and spoke. Now, whenever you see the Army or the Air Force admirals or generals get up, they've got all this shit hanging off of them everywhere. There are badges and ribbons and shit hanging off the front of their shirts. They look like a friggin' Russian bunch of
Private.
yeah. Aquino got up to speak with his pilot wings, 3 ribbons, and his command pin. And he called out exactly what's going on with China. They are very pointedly doing everything they can to defeat the United States in the Far East. They want to control all the way out to the 9-dash line. Not a half an hour later, I can't even remember the asshole's name now. The retired admiral who
Joe
is,
Biden?
Huh?
Joe
No.
Biden?
No,
Okay.
the one that's now stepping in occasionally for Cream John Pierre, whatever the hell her name is. The guy that was
I
at
don't ever
state.
watch
Yeah.
that stuff, so I couldn't tell you.
Anyway, he was stepping in and he made the comment. He said, well, I'm here to explain, what the admiral really meant.
Oh,
And it's like,
oh,
Kirby, yeah. And I'm sitting there going, you have got to be shitting me.
You little ass monkey, come here.
He just laid out the truth of what's going on. And now you're going to fucking spin it. You're going to fucking spin it to cover Biden's ass. This is going to get us in a shooting war.
So a subordinate officer decided to tell the world what his supervisor.
retired.
He's
now.
retired.
Okay.
He is a speaker for the State Department and the military.
Ah,
Which leads to the second part of my rant. I got curious as to some of the things that were going on with why Tuberville was, Senator Tuberville from Alabama is freezing general officer promotions. As it turns out, it's over DOD's abortion ruling. A couple of odd little things. Oh, nice toy. Toys.
Ian wanted to see.
Ah.
So, a couple of odd things on the ruling.
Yeah. For one, DOD will pay for a woman in a state that does not have abortion to go to another state to have an abortion. They will also give her 30 days basket leave. Not chargeable. They will do this every time she has an abortion.
And here's where, off camera, I sip my coffee and bite my tongue.
I'm not biting my tongue anymore.
I
I'm
wonder how many stingers that money could be used to buy.
Yeah. Tom's right. You only get 45 days after pregnancy. Well, by the way, Tom, Under the new DOD policy, they get 90 days. And basically not charged as leave.
What?
Yeah.
Must be nice.
I'm an old fart. I can remember back in the 80s, if she hadn't danced with a stinger, she wouldn't need the abortion. Yep.
Oh.
USS Yosemite was homeported in Charleston, South Carolina. And a female friend of mine that I'd gone through OCS with was a division officer on board the Yosemite. And I had to go to Charleston for a school and took her out to supper one night. We're sitting there talking, and she is moaning, complaining, and bitching about the women on the ship. And I looked at her and I went, what has got you so pissed? And she said, and Tom beat me to it. The rumor was Yosemite was going to deploy in 6 months.
Everybody got knocked up.
Not everybody. Only 60% of the women had gotten knocked up based on a rumor. Not a deployment order, but the rumor of a deployment order. Because they did not want to go to Holy Loch, Scotland for 6 months.
Why not?
Because that would have meant they would have had to leave home.
You signed on to the military. You go where they tell you to. Never mind.
Never mind.
My bad.
1977, we deployed for the first time ever with females in a Navy squadron on deployment. Granted, it was VP. Granted, we were going to a shore base. We had 2 women in the squadron, enlisted women in the squadron, who hid their pregnancies to stay on deployment
Cool.
because they did not want to hurt the other women in the squadron.
Because it was a different time. It was a time of duty and honor and making a commitment, not just to signing on the dotted line for Uncle Sam, but to your brothers and sisters that's where you were serving with.
And that's gone away.
And it has.
Yeah. Now, to get even stupider, there was a little rat hole to go down, and that was what is going on with the quote unquote transgenders in the military.
Oh, God.
In writing, they are non-deployable for 9 to 18 months while they undergo treatment.
And also possibly to protect them from fragging. I mean, not that that ever happens.
And
What?
I need to not have this littering the floor in my shop.
Oh.
Sorry. but I'm going to finish this one.
Finish your rant and get on to something else.
The other thing is that they are automatically waived from any PRT testing.
What the hell is PRT?
Basically, can you pass the fitness requirements?
Oh, God.
And that is what Tuberville is holding things up for. They had a meeting. DOD
He wants that to. He wants it to stop, or he wants to keep going.
he wants it to stop.
Okay.
Wants it to go back to where it was.
Good luck.
Yeah.
The problem is that you get the rare circumstance where it's actually a thing. And then you get all of the hangers on that hop onto the bandwagon.
Yeah.
And that's where things go very badly wrong.
If you have emergency leave, you don't get free basket leave. The Navy or the Marines or anybody else doesn't pay for your travel to go home. That's on you. If you can't afford it, we have an organization called Navy Relief or the Red Cross. Red Cross doesn't loan money anymore. Navy Relief does.
Mm-hmm.
For Navy Marines, they'll loan you the money to get home on emergency leave. But to have the military pay for you to go have an abortion
Mm-hmm.
and give you 30 days basket leave so you can enjoy.
So they'll do this, but they won't cover someone that has an actual emergency.
Right.
Yeah, that's not right.
This really looks like a 1970s special effects ship, by the way.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
because
there are.
that's all special effects were capable of.
Yeah. Yeah, there are always going to be people who will comply with the rules
Mhm.
because they were raised right and they believe in the military and they believe in what they're doing.
Yeah.
But as you said, the hangers on are the ones that are going to use and abuse those privileges.
Well, and that's where the line "this is why we can't have nice things"
Yeah.
comes from. Is the fact that that's human nature.
Yeah.
Anytime you have something that's a nice perk or that's a good thing to be able to give to some people, you will find people that will manipulate the system and take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And then the nice thing goes away because it's easier to just make it go away than it is to thin out the abusers from the actual needy people.
Well, and
I've
if
seen
you
this
start
happen
going
in a lot
after
of
the
places.
abusers, if you start going after the abusers, then they scream persecution.
Right.
Yeah.
So, on to more cheerful things. Ian, what were you going to rant about?
I was going to rant about the how we need to start, and this will be very brief because John wants us to be doing cheerful things.
Yeah.
However, I think the Army, Marine Corps, whatever, needs to start vetting the people on the DMZ. In particular,
I know what you're talking about. Who killed Jim?
Damn.
you gonna survive there, Scooter? There needs to be a briefing that says if they're running north, stop them. Because Scooter should not have been able to get across the DMZ. Not that easily.
You know why he was running north?
He was
Because he was
headed
in trouble.
he was headed stateside for a probable court martial.
Yeah.
I know that's bad, Scooter. I realize court martials are bad, but in the United States these days, they're probably not going to put you up against a wall and shoot you, unlike your current hosts.
Yeah.
But they won't shoot him right away.
No.
They'll milk him
Nope.
for everything.
They'll make sure he has a proper parasite load before they put him out of his misery.
Oh yeah, if he's still alive, he may already be dead.
Yeah, he
Enhanced
joined a tour
interrogation
group to
procedures,
yes.
and then
Yeah.
We have military all over the DMZ to stop people coming one way. I'm pretty sure we can add an addendum to their daily brief to stop people going the other way.
RK, that's plain bullshit. You and I both know it.
What?
His family claims he was distraught because of a cousin or something dying. Now, he was distraught because he was about to get his ass court-martialed.
He was distraught because he was a 2-year PV2 who just gotten out of a South Korean prison.
For a vehicular wreck that he caused, apparently while he was drinking. So,
No,
what a surprise.
no.
Florida man in North Korea. Oh Lord. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, and that's, you're right, Michael Red. It is now a rock-heavy mission. Yeah. It was at Peace Village, so he really didn't risk getting shot by our side.
Well, I
that's-
have to imagine the people on our side are like, "What is that dumbass doing?"
Yes,
And
David, go ahead.
There was a stunned moment before they reacted.
David has a quick workaround. So
Well, and
over to you, David.
the plain and simple fact of the matter, real quick on my rant,
Well, he's
is-
typing, I'm assuming.
the people have been saying, well, North Korea are going to trade him for what?
Yeah.
What's North Korea going to trade him for? A bag of rice?
John, newsflash, man with history of poor decisions makes another poor decision.
Right?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, there's a reason that young GIs are legendary.
Tom says, in his defense, the best way to make E4 in Korea is to arrive as an E5. Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Oh, no.
So Bill has left us? Okay. Was it something I said?
I'm assuming it was work.
Okay.
Yeah. David says, I'm trying to teach new classes. have to do 8 hours of online training prior. Some info is 10 years out of date. Oh, geez. 11 million concealed carry permit holders. John Lott said 21.5 by 2021. Also, a 70-question learning styles assessment beforehand.
Now, I have to admit, one of the good things about the police academy is they made everybody take a learning styles assessment before we started the academy, and that was when I discovered that I'm a tactile learner.
Yeah, I think.
This snark coming from off, by the way.
Yeah.
Some snark heading my way.
Well, Alyssa's just sitting over to Connor grinning all the time.
That was a valuable piece of knowledge for me anyway. In fact, I didn't realize I was a tactile learner. And then they tailored part of the police academy for my learning style, which made it rather easy, made it a lot easier to go through the academy.
Well,
Everybody, I think, has a variety of learning styles.
Oh, mine skews heavily tactile.
Well, I know yours skews heavily tactile, and that's what I was going to say. Is a lot of people also have preferences. I've been watching this with my son, and putting him into a welding program where it was all hands-on made such a huge difference.
Mikado, touchy-feely.
Yes.
I'm a tactile person.
And Kelly goes, seriously? You didn't know that?
No, there are visual learners, there are auditory learners, and there are tactile learners, and tactile learners aren't all that common, apparently, according to in 1993, that was conventional wisdom.
Yeah, they were wrong.
Yeah, tactile learning was a usually you have a visual or auditory learner with a tactile function. Mine was I pegged the needle on tactile.
Padre, word of advice: do not mention after you take that you're now qualified for sexual harassment. That does not go over well. Just saying.
No, but apparently how solidly tactile I am, combined with some primarily inattentive type attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I have very little hyperactivity other than what you see here because I'm nervous. I am very, very, very inattentive as far as my ADD goes. And couple that with tactile learning.
Yeah.
And college, high school was torture for me, and college was worse.
Not everybody needs to go to college.
Nope, I didn't.
Yeah. That is true, Kelly.
Yeah, it's kinesthetic learning.
That should be 36 font for you.
What?
Kinesthetic.
Yeah, I'm
Auditory is in 12 pitch. Visual is 12 pitch. Kinesthetic 36 pitch.
I am apparently the psychiatric guy that gave us a test made me take it twice.
Yeah, Raptor, that's typical. Last minute RFPs never win. I would bet that they already had the person that they were going to, or the company they were going to award it to, already picked out. And yours was just to satisfy the government requirement for X number of RFPs. Seen that done more than once.
I was actually writing something on Facebook. One of the comments at LibertyCon, in amongst
One of the comments.
there was a commenter on my blog. When I was at LibertyCon, I was in mix everything else. I was looking for certain specific authors, baby authors, that I was going to buttonhole, get a hold of. And these authors are people I've known online, but I've never known them in the paint. So I walked up to one. Somebody, I was doing something. I think I was looking for Griffin Barber. I needed to have a talk with him. And somebody said, "Hey, let's say Tracy. I just saw Tracy on the mezzanine outside the craft shop." I went, squirrels, left turn. So I headed for, I was looking for Griffin. All of a sudden, I'm heading for the mezzanine outside the craft shop looking for Tracy. I saw somebody master script and went, "Hey, Tracy, you're not Tracy. Why the hell aren't you Tracy?" And wandered off. And apparently that did get a card, But apparently that was memorable enough that this person found my blog. So I was writing up an apology. I'm not normally this scatterbrained, and I realized, yeah, I pretty much am.
Yeah.
Sorry. What you see is what you get.
Yeah, Raptor. Anytime you see a general bid, they've pretty much already picked who they're going to award it to. The
Right.
problem is that you kind of got to play their friggin' games. Oh, Jesus. Raptor, that one. If your own people screwed you, and why does it not surprise me that it's sales that screwed you? Yeah, they.
Oh, my poor son. He was trying to do a little job hunting not too long ago. And because he doesn't know any better, he put his resume and information out there on the job boards.
Oh,
And
no.
he comes to me all excited because he's gotten a job offer. And I'm like, dude, did you interview with these people? And he's like, no, they just reached out to him and offered him a job. Small amount of investigation later, it was sales at a rent-to-own furniture store.
No. No.
Oh, I could see your poor son trying to do that.
Oh, no.
I realize
Oh,
that he's
no.
going to wind up auctioning his soul sometime, but he needs to hold off on that for a bit. No, it's people ask me how, they watch me on here and they're genuinely curious about how the hell I was an excellent soldier and a better than average peace officer. And I was explaining in this post, which I'm going to have to refine, that I learned how to make masks.
Yeah.
And I had a Sergeant Ian mask when I was in the military. I would pull out, and it would let me concentrate and turn the distractions into just another thing. And that was great, but it was exhausting. And it left me open to what I later learned was overstimulation. When I wear the mask too long, I get serious overstimulation. And by overstimulation, everything all of a sudden needs my attention. People breathing. I can be at LibertyCon when I get overstimulated. People breathing is as much on my mind as talking to the person, doors opening, the swish of people walking, somebody touching me as they go by. All of that starts just. You can't shut it off. You have to go somewhere. And then later, when I became a peace officer, the Sergeant Mac mask helped. So I built a new mask as a peace officer, which will allow me to function for 8 to 12 hours as a peace officer and not be this flaky, what you see now. What you see now is not what my young officers saw. But with the same caveats. I could only have it on for a certain period of time before overstimulation got a hold of me and I was screwed. This recent change to publisher and public person, I don't have any sort of mask for that. So I'm trying to build one. I'll get it. It's just taking me a little while because I have no foundation to work from.
Yeah.
So it'll take me a while. For people that despair over the flittery-brained fox you get, that'll change. It's just me trying to find a new mask.
Well, based on my experience, for what that's worth, which is zero, everybody has 3 masks, if you will, at a minimum.
Most women have 12, actually.
3 basic ones. And then you get Kelly with 36, so he could have the rest of mine. But you have the professional mask, as you alluded to.
Mm-hmm.
You have the personal mask, which is how you interact with people in a day-to-day basis. And then you have the private mask, which is the way you react with family and very close friends.
Mm-hmm.
And those 3 normally are very, very different in their approaches. like in the military, professional mask, it was always honesty, integrity, and professionalism. You know, you did everything by the book when anybody was watching. Now, what you did when you were with your crew away, you did whatever it took to get the job done.
Well, my masks were right now. The person you're seeing right now could not execute a mission.
Yeah.
The Sergeant McMurtry was very good at executing missions. The person you're seeing right now would not be good at calming somebody who was distraught after a car accident or investigating a crime. The Deputy McMurtry was. Law Dog was very good at writing on and the Law Dog is actually closer to my default state, because when I was writing my blog, I wasn't actually interacting with people. And all this is to allow me, because y'all watch me, my brain goes in 40 different directions. Has since I hit puberty. It's one day I was great in school, the next day I would get A's and B's the first 6 weeks, and I would fail everything else. The rest of the 6 weeks I was failing because I couldn't complete assignments. I couldn't listen to if there's anything going outside, I couldn't listen to the teacher, and college was worse. And it's gotten worse over the years. My brain goes in 40 different directions at lightning speed. And it took me a long time to realize that not everybody was like this. In order to focus on one thing, on accomplishing this mission, getting these guys somewhere, doing something, getting them back, which was my responsibility, I had to be able to focus. And I don't focus well like this, as y'all can tell. Same thing as a cop. And I'm working on building another one for publishing. It's going to take a while.
Yeah, Padre, that's an excellent point. Your chaplain mask is different than your officer mask. It has to be, because those are two diametrically opposite points in the military. As an officer, you've got to be the leader, not the manager, but the leader. And you have to lead by example. But as a chaplain, you have to be the counselor. And those are two very, very different arts, and I'll use that term, that you have to use.
But and mine is simply a way to focus my squirrels, because when you're sitting on the deck of a Black Hawk, flying into somewhere to do something, you can't be spinning your thingy. And right now, I am currently diddling with this. Diddling, bad word. Thinking about the etymology of diddling. Wondering what Rita wants for a meal when this is done. Talking to you guys. Cedar's over here, and she's literally a ball of sparks right now. And it's all...
I'm sorry.
If you say you're sorry again, I'm going to get upset. Alyssa is breathing and giggling at me, and Jim's over here, and all this is going through my head at once, and it makes it very difficult to accomplish missions. I'm having to try to shut off various stimuli, which is extremely difficult to do for me, and still function. Part of my brain is locked onto each one of these stimuli and trying to analyze it.
Tom, really? That's fancy. Folks spin their thingies on Black.
I had E4 spin his thingy on Black Hawk.
Boy.
Part of this also rolls back into being an author, and that is the ability to concentrate.
Yes, and it's extremely difficult for me right now.
Yeah.
As I tell people, my best writing I've ever done, Jim and Rita and some other folks took me to Amarillo. I was doing the last part of the Law Dog files for Castelli House, and I needed to get it done.
Yeah.
And they took me to Amarillo, and I was in a Hilton, and I turned off all the lights, drew the curtains, and just sat and wrote. Rita was there, and she was just one of the things I love about Rita is she exudes this calm. She's just this little soft it's hard to explain how I sense the world. Um, she's this little soft, reassuring, fluffy thing, which sparkles every now and then. And sparkling is great. And I just sat and I wrote. I think 8,000 words in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Um, but there was absolutely no stimulation other than Rita's presence. That was the only way I could write.
So what I'm hearing is we have to throw you in a dark room and lock the door.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
well, yeah. He's come over to the house and
Yep.
sat in the dark living room and written. I'm just the opposite. I can write pretty much anywhere. I've written in bars. I've written on airplanes. Main reason I wrote in bars, I couldn't afford a damn bar bill. But the ability to concentrate, the ability to concentrate on what you're doing and to hold that train of thought is critical. Larry and Steve both talk about this in Writer's Dojo, which, by the way, if you're not subscribed to that, you should be. And it's you treat writing as a job.
Mm-hmm.
Your goal every day, every friggin' day, is to get words on paper. You get up in the morning, you do whatever you have to do in your life. For those that have lives, unlike some of us,
Day jobs.
your day job, but you set aside time to write and you sit down and you write. If you got to do it in a dark room, you do that. If you can do it somewhere else, you do it wherever you can get away with writing. But every day, put words on paper. It may be 50 words. It may be 500. It may be 5,000. But that is what allows you to be productive. I did not do that on diversions. I got sucked off into some other things, which is why the book was basically 3 months late.
This is a family show.
Hey, I'm just going to give up. All right, somebody else's turn.
I don't have a rant. I do have kind of a lessons learned because my battle of the last couple of weeks has been with the VA.
Oh, yeah.
And
That was from Rita.
up until I'm not even up until just recently, I've let Sanford do the VA thing mostly by himself because he's a grown man and he didn't necessarily need me. Well, now he needs me to be part of this because the cardiologist that the VA has assigned him to is not doing his job.
Incompetent idiot.
Yes.
That
And
was incompetent idiot was the peanut
Right.
gallery comment.
so for any of y'all spouses of veterans or even you veterans, speak up when there's an issue. I have been trying to reach the patient advocate and have left 4 voicemails over the course of the week and have not gotten a call back from them. And I discovered today that if you call the Inspector General's office, they close early on Thursdays. So
Really?
now you know. So I will attempt to call them tomorrow. But without Jonna and a couple of other friends nudging me saying it's okay to make a fuss, I would probably have not been as cranky about this as I was. Although I had gotten to a point where there's certain medications I can't improvise.
Well, when the cardiac doctor, who's for a cardiac patient who's had a stent put in his heart, forgets the blood thinner prescription.
What?
Yeah, talk about a negligence claim with the Inspector General. Sorry, I'm just going to say that so you don't get in trouble, but I can say it. So, there's an inspector. This is just beyond. This is just, and having gone through similar things with my second ex-husband, you have to get right up in the VA's face from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because this is not okay.
Y'all
Yeah,
heard
so-
that last 30 seconds? Socialized medicine in a nutshell.
Yeah, if people
Yeah.
want government medical care, okay, go do the VA for a month and see how you survive that. Oh my Lord.
Yeah,
Well,
because
Um,
this has been. I mean, I had already gotten pretty low opinion of the health business. I'm no longer going to call it healthcare. Starting in 2020, there's a reason I haven't seen a doctor in years.
Yeah.
But dealing with this, trying to keep my husband alive, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Has been taking all of my spoons. I have not written in a month, and I don't expect to write anytime soon.
Yeah.
Because it's day job and making phone calls to the VA, trying to track down appointments and medication, and
Actually,
Zeb asked a question, says VA like getting your medical care from the DMV? It depends on where you go. And it
and it
depends on
depends
what,
on the DMV. I've actually had decent DMV ladies that helped me with things, and I've had decent VA people that helped me with things.
Yeah.
But more often than not, they make sympathetic noises to your face, and then you walk away, and it's like it never happened.
well, that's where you got to stay on our asses.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I did get 4 different people that I talked to at Imaginarium that were old veterans like me to file for the PACT Act and Agent Orange.
oh, well done.
They didn't know about it. How? I mean, obviously the word is not getting out, I
No.
guess.
No. Well, I mean, it's like, okay, so for the first time we got a bill for a copay for one of his medications, which was different. I'm like, okay. But in it there was a little flyer saying that if you are this kind of veteran, then you can apply to not have to pay a copay. Not a flavor that I'm worried about, but
Yeah.
that was the information that was dispersed. So if you weren't in the VA system getting VA medication, then you might not get certain kinds of information. Their information propagation does not work well, I have discovered.
Yeah.
Me trying to find things out, navigating the system without Jonna and another friend getting involved, I would have been completely flustered and stymied by this because, and I imagine, and Sanford's just like, yep, this is how they are, and he's just totally accepting of it. Well, first of all, he hasn't got the energy to fight right now.
Yeah.
But even before this, when I first met him and got together with him, he had pretty much dropped out of the VA system altogether because it was such an uphill battle every time for even the least bit of care. And now that, granted, that was in Dayton, Ohio, and I've since found out that they're considered one of the worst.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really, really difficult. And I can see where, especially a sick, stubborn veteran, is not going to be able to manage it on their own without
Yeah.
having someone by their side that's willing to be their advocate.
Well, when we had the thing down here last month, MSU hosted it, bless their hearts, put us in a metal building. And we had over 100, I counted, I think 110 veterans in there at one point, plus wives, children, and most of us are deaf.
Oh no.
And I felt so sorry for those poor nurses because they're over there, Mr. Everybody's going, who? What? And they finally found this leather-lunged retired Army artillery guy. And he had a deep, booming voice.
Oh, that works.
And he was sitting over there, and I wasn't really paying that much attention because I was sitting there waiting for my name to be called. And I see the nurse go over to him and point, and all of a sudden he booms out a name. Another nurse goes over, he booms out another name. They were using him, yeah,
Yes, as a speaker.
As a
That's
speaker.
good.
but we had over 100 vets show up. I know of at least 5 guys that were not in the system that got signed up that day.
Sanford wasn't in the electronic system until I signed him up right after the heart attack.
Yeah. But we also had, and these were folks out of Oklahoma City that came down, also had VA people who filled out claim forms right there on the spot.
Yeah.
So we had people that were actually able to get in the system and get their claim forms filled out.
Good. Good.
This would have never happened in Dallas.
Yeah.
That's
Well-
one of the reasons that I moved here.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons that we came here
Yeah.
is because you told me that the system up here is better.
Yeah.
And I'm not doubting that the system up here is better. It's still
It's not perfect.
no, it's still got some roughness, and I'm
Yeah.
but I will manage this. I will navigate this because I'm also stubborn.
I hate to ask this. I forgot. Did this thing originally comes to cube?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you should be able to make it back into a cube. Now we've lost him for a while. Oh.
Easy for us to say, not for him to do.
But that's good. He's got a challenge.
It's not to go against the wall.
The
if I can't
fox
figure it out.
needs enrichment activities.
It's not to go against the wall if I can't figure it out. I couldn't get it out of a cube when I first got here. Now I can't get it back in the cube.
Oh. All right, Kelly, take care. Be safe on the road, man. Last day on the Emerald Lamps. Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was saying that
Our
he's
buddy-
getting ready to get packed up and out. of
Our buddy Kelly's moving to New York.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's about being for an education.
No kidding.
Love you, man, but
Yeah.
we're here if you need to run.
Yeah, Rick, there are, and you and I both know this, there are selected places that are good. There are many more places in the VA system that suck.
Well, unfortunately, the VA has a tendency to wind up with doctors that are there because they don't have a better place to be.
Yeah. Well,
And
the one
this-
advantage with Oklahoma City is a lot of the doctors are also professors at OU Med School, which is next door.
Oh, that's cool. Breathe for a minute. Breathe.
It's not going into a cube.
Oh, Padre, yes. They are closing local clinics, which is odd. But
They've been
what
doing
they're
that for a while.
Huh?
They've been doing that for a while.
but what they're also trying to do is to expand areas of coverage and centralize centralize where people go. One thing that I did find out, yeah, Winkle read, the food is surprisingly good at OKCBA. They are building new ones in a lot of locations. And Cedar just gave up on it.
No, I was going to point out there's a branding thing. So to take that as a clue, that probably was on the outside when it was a cube. Right here.
The other side, your other left,
He found it.
your military left.
Yes, but it's not.
Get ready to duck, Melissa. Just gonna launch
He won't
it.
throw it anymore.
Yeah, San Diego was interesting because you had Balboa down there. As a matter of fact, the surgeon that worked on my daughter was an ex-flight surgeon / orthopedic surgeon who had been at Balboa and also did orthopedics for the SEAL teams out at Coronado. So when my daughter had to have her shoulder rebuilt, he took one look at it and went, "Oh, I've seen this one before."
Yeah. You did it.
Damn.
What?
You see what I got to put up with, folks.
How long before he picks it up again? Now taking bets. Oh, really?
They bet on when y'all are going to swear.
Yes, I've noticed that.
Oh, that happened much earlier.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, Raptor. Funny story about the Midway. I was out there for some meetings out at Coronado and other places. And I'm standing out in front of the hotel smoking a cigarette, getting ready to go.
Very nice.
And these two guys come in on Harley Davidsons. And they look like they have been drugged through a knothole. I mean, they are tired. They are drooping. And I'm chatting with them. And one guy gets off and he's kind of, oh my God, I hurt. I went, where'd you guys come in from? He goes, Dallas. So what?
Ooh, wow.
The other guy goes, yeah, the old ladies decided to go to New York shopping. So we said, screw it. I'm bringing him out here because he's never seen a Navy ship. And I used to be on the Midway. Oh. So they had literally ridden Harley Davidsons from Dallas to San Diego straight through.
That's their own damn fault.
They were going to tour the Midway, get some sleep, and then ride back to Dallas.
Oof.
And I went, okay, Navy, does not surprise me a bit. I looked at the one guy and I said, why didn't you fly? The guy says, yeah, I've been trying to do an iron ass for a number of years, which, by the way, is a motorcycle thing of how many miles you ride consecutively. And he says, I got my 1,000-mile iron ass pin out of this trip. Okay.
Cedar, the writing isn't on the exterior of this at all.
And he lasted 3 minutes, folks.
What?
Before
Seriously?
you picked it up again.
I was wondering if the
Branding was on the outside the way I thought it might be. It was not.
Yeah, Raptor. That's unusual that they actually had the cockpit open. Well, it's a T2. You can't screw that thing up. Midway's
you were in the military. What the hell? They could screw up and have screwed up bowling balls.
Well, that's true. On that note, folks, we've wasted your time. I would like to apologize
Well.
for my rant and my attitude today, but screw it. I needed to get that off my chest. What? Yeah, the T2 is a trainer. It's pretty hard to damage. But anyway, folks, have a good weekend. Be safe. If you're in Texas, Oklahoma, try to stay cool.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
And remember, hydrate. Yeah, we're all here for each other. That's a scary thought.
3, 2, 1, squirrels. Anywho, y'all be safe.
Be safe. Remember, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff. Well, depending. Pretty much everything is sweaty right now. And on that note, goodbye, folks.
Y'all be safe.
Before this goes any further down.